welcome to the latest edition of the Emporia Sports Buzz.
Howdy, this is the college edition.
Howdy, Mike. This is Jesse, Newell Gazette sports reporter, also known as Woody from Toy Story. Joined alongside, as always, by Michael, the man, the myth, the legend, Ashford. Michael, say hi to them however you want to say hi to them.
I guess that would make me Buzz Lightyear. Let's get to it, Jesse. We have lots to talk about here. It's K-State KU week as well in basketball. So
before we get to that
matchup, but before we get to that,
to infinity and beyond. Let's talk about Emporia State first. We'll go on the women's side first. Emporia State beats Missouri Western at home by 18 points after losing by 19 to Missouri Southern. We could talk about the Western game, but let's go back to the Southern game because I know a lot of people are kind of surprised at this point of the year that Emporia State has so many losses, and they were third preseason picked in the nation, and 5 losses now for Emporia State, 3 in conference, and Mike, against Southern, they just got physically dominated inside. Get out rebounded by almost 20, give up 90 points for the second time in Brandon Snyder's tenure. There's some problems right there, Mike, where physical teams come in and they have a tendency to beat up on the Lady Hornets.
Well, but even that Southern game was so surprising just because of the fact that Emporia State came into that game leading the league in rebounds, leading in scoring defense. They're right up there in scoring defense, and Southern just sounded like they just took it to Emporia State, especially down low, and Emporia State had absolutely no answer. It sounds like maybe the Lady Hornets kind of came back again on against Missouri Western on Sunday and rebounded from that and took care of those things. But yeah, I mean, this team is showing some chinks in the armor. Third ranked to start out the season. Even when that happened, I said, hold on, just wait a second. This team has so many new faces. Yes, it has Michelle Stevie, All-American, Cassandra Boston, first team MIAA selection, Ida Edwards, who is athletic as all get out. But that many new faces, much like I'll relate it to the Kansas State men, it took Emporia State, and I think it's still taking Emporia State a little while to get going with that many new faces on this team. 2
things for Emporia State, Mike. You made a good point about the Western game. They did come back. They out-rebounded Western handily. They played good defense against Western, held them into the 60 points. So probably those problems are fixed. Probably they solved those problems. The thing you were mentioning, though, is correct. They've got a lot of new players, a lot of players that are adjusting in the MIAA. You've got the Allie Volkins, the Allie Renbergs, and those players right now aren't used to that physical style play. I mean, Allie Renberg comes from JUCO. Allie Volkins comes from Iowa, where she was probably the biggest player in the state. So these players are still adjusting to that. What I'll be curious to see is the second half of the conference season. They can't be surprised by this stuff anymore. Really, against Southern, they shouldn't have been surprised by it because they've seen it against Fort Hays. They've seen it against Washburn. This league is tough. This league is physical. You're going to have to deal with it. You can't complain about it. You can't get down by it, or you're going to get beat. And so it'll be interesting to see in the second half of the season if Emporia State's big players, especially inside, deal with the pressure, deal with the physicality better than they have in this first go-round through the MIAA.
And that's exactly the point I wanted to touch on. The second time through this league, there aren't a whole lot of excuses that you can make with this team anymore. I mean, this team is obviously talented. I mean, we already listed off the players that they have. But just now, with that familiarity, I would suspect that Emporia State probably does a little bit better the second time around in this league. I mean, let's make no joke about it. Emporia State's still right into this thing. The MIAA is just beating each other up right now. These teams are just going at each other, and Truman knocks off Southwest Baptist, the league leader, this last weekend. Fort Hays State beats Northwest Missouri.
Missouri Southern.
Just beat Emporia State. I mean, this league is so balanced. The parity is there. I would suspect Emporia State kind of steps up to the plate the second time around.
I think the disappointing thing right now is Emporia State is playing so well at home, and they cleared that schedule for regionals, and right now they're just not getting the wins needed, or they're having too many of the losses that are not needed to get that regional berth to play wide tournament, because that's such an advantage. So Emporia State really would have to play well down the stretch to even be considered for that now, but the disappointing thing is they play so well at home, and those home games look like they're slipping away down the postseason. Emporia State men, they turn around and they get a win against Missouri Western after getting blown out against Southern. Again, Emporia State, with playing without Westbrook, it's got to be a big confidence boost for them to get that win without West, because he is their second best player, sometimes their best player. He makes them better on defense, better on offense. And they've gotten blown out in 2 games without him. They win against Western. That's got to be kind of a boost for them.
Absolutely, and I love DeAndre Townsend and the attitude that he takes and brings to this team. He's fantastic. And sorry, I had a little trouble here.
Howdy.
Yeah, he just makes big shots after big shots for this team, and it's fantastic what he can do. If this team stays in a game, when he's on, he's going to win a lot of games for this team, and it sounds like he did that against Missouri Western on Sunday.
Obviously, they have to make each other better, and they have to play within the scheme. Spencer Allen gets 9 rebounds. That's big for them. But, DeAndre Townsend, when he's on, it seems like the team is on. So if he can bring his level up at all times, I think he's figured out that his team goes with him emotionally and on the scoreboard. So he was 1 of 2 in the first half, Mike. And so, I'm not saying he needs to be a bog. I'm not saying that he needs to force shots. But 2 shots for a guy like that, he needs to be more aggressive. He needs to be more in these games for Emporia State to hang around, because right now he's their leader, both emotionally and scoring-wise. Let's turn to KU K-State. I know you want to talk about it, Mike. This is a huge game for both teams, but an interesting point from Whitlock today in Kansas City. Sorry, I know we talk about him. We talk about him way too much for who he is.
Yeah, too much credit.
He says that all the pressure is on K-State in this game, the number 22 ranked team, the team that's not undefeated. I agree with him. There's a lot of pressure on K-State in this game.
I wholeheartedly agree. The thing that's different about this, though, is K-State has heaped that pressure on itself. Michael Beasley has run his mouth a few times, saying, earlier in the preseason, earlier this summer, hey, we're going to beat KU in Africa. We're going to beat them anywhere we want.
Mars.
Michael Beasley has the right to maybe talk to him about himself that way. I don't know if K-State as a whole team has that right. Not beating KU in Bramlage Coliseum ever. But, Bill Walker this last week after Iowa State said, we want to put that pressure on ourselves because that's a chance to either step up and prove yourself right, or you're going to fall back. And the players want that pressure. This is a huge, huge game. This is the biggest game these two teams have played in a long time. Well, my question to you is, when was the last time K-State had the best player on the court in this series? It's been a long time.
Probably Mitch Richmond, and you'd still be arguing there because, you've got the Mannings of the world about that time of year, or that time in the series. But right now I want to ask you a question too. With the KU K-State, I always thought with football that it was kind of a season-changing game for both the football teams. How K-State afterwards wasn't really the same. KU really thought, hey, we beat a good team, we are a good team. Is this that kind of game for K-State? Because if they beat KU, doesn't this springboard them into, maybe a run to the top 15, top 10, get them a really good seed in the NCAA tournament, make them think, hey, we are a legit team, we beat KU?
Yeah, absolutely. And it shows that this team is improving off the early season struggles that it took just trying to get it acclimated to Big 12 and Division I basketball. A win over KU, first off, it sets K-State up to finish in the top 2-3 of the conference. I still think KU would win it. Even a loss to K-State on Wednesday doesn't hurt KU that much. But yes, absolutely, it solidifies K-State's place as a contender on a national stage. When you look at KU probably being the most well-rounded, the best team playing the best basketball at this point in the season.
Keys for K-State, Mike.
Keys for K-State, guard play. It starts with guard play. KU's guards are so fantastic at turning teams over, and K-State's guards, while they have gotten better in Big 12 play, it's going to take their best effort of the year to beat KU.
KU plays 2 types of defenses. One defense is good and one defense is outstanding. If KU plays its outstanding defense, the one that creates a lot of steals, creates a lot of turnovers, it's going to be tough for K-State to win. For K-State, I think the key right now is, Roy Williams used to always say, your best player can score as many points as he wants as long as we shut down everybody else. I'm kind of in the agreement with that. I think Beasley will probably get his 30 points and 15 rebounds or whatever he does get. KU's main concern will be the Bill Walkers and the Jacob Pullens. If they can limit those players and let Beasley have his points, KU's got a good shot in this game. But if Beasley gets 31 and Walker gets 21, KU might be in a heap of trouble.
Well, and I think that's probably going to be K-State's game plan is, get Bill Walker his point, or get Michael Beasley his points, but Bill Walker has to step up, and he has to get at least 15 for K-State to have a chance in this game, because, if not, K-State's in a world of trouble.
We've seen what can happen in Texas A&M when both Walker and Beasley score. It amounted to trouble for a ranked opponent. We're going to get out of here. For Jesse Newell, Gazette sports reporter, and Michael Ashford, the man, the myth, the legend, we're going to sign off from the Emporia Sports Buzz. But before we go, Mike, we need some advice for all the kids out there.
Wear your colors on Wednesday. Purple, red, blue, white, gray, black. Wear your colors on Wednesday. It's a big game.
It'll probably be purple or blue. Just stick to those. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.